Hey everyone, Jeff here. Welcome back to Imagination Tech. So today I'm going to show you what a further step in the evolution of my Armor 85 HD. So it went from Armor 85 HD to Whoopee HD, and then changed the electronics to something very lightweight. And now this is the final evolution maybe of that. It's no longer an Armor 85 HD in any sense, but yeah, this is the PicklePick frame. I've migrated all of my Armor 85 HD electronics onto this, and this is a 3-inch frame, but I have 2.5-inch props on this because one, I don't have 3-inch motors, and two, these are 10,000 kV motors. I don't have motors for 3-inch, and these are good for 2S. Maybe 3S, I don't know. We'll try that later. But yeah, we are going to be giving this a maiden right now, with the bit back there in the garden. But in a couple of after probably a couple of test flights, we'll probably go down there. I flew my Tiny Hawk Freestyle a couple of days ago, and it's a pretty wide area, but my Tiny Hawk Freestyle does not have Crossfire. This one does. It actually has an upgraded antenna. This is the FPV Cycle Mini Mortal T antenna. So yeah, I'm gonna take you back to the bench so that I can show you exactly what happened, all of the parts that's in here and how I built this thing. It's not gonna be a detailed review, so we're just gonna skip to that, and then we'll fly in a bit. So this is my Armor Whoopee HD. This is just basically an Armor 85 HD transplanted to a Whoopee HD frame, and I've kept upgrading some of the parts from the default receiver. It has a Crossfire. I've changed the Cadex Turtle V2 to a Beta FPV Nano HD camera, and even the stack is Beta FPV AIO. With I think 10 amp ESCs on it. So basically, the only things that are still from the original Armor 85 HD are these Makerfire 1103 10,000 kV motors, as well as this VTX, which goes to 100 milliwatts. So for this size class, it's pretty much still okay. This is an open source frame, another open source frame. I've just made a review of another open source frame called the Micro Long Range, the Timberger 4-inch Micro Long Range frame, and I'll just put a link to that up here. But yeah, so do check that out. It's a great long range frame. But this one, this is another open source toothpick frame, and it comes in different varieties: 65 millimeters, 2-inch, and 3-inch. Now this is the 3-inch. You can have these. You can download these things from Thingiverse. You can order, a pre-cut frames from Armatan. And here in the Philippines, I believe Frankie Cruz still has them. You just, pay him for. You're basically just paying for the materials when you get some from him. And this was sent to me for free by Franz Morales. Again, no soldering required. We're just going to be transplanting all of the electronics into this toothpick frame. But we are also upgrading these Crossfire antennas to this FPV Cycle Mini Mortal T antenna. This is from Kabab FPV on his shop, FPV Cycle. So here is this is a Crossfire antenna. It still provides like medium range, maybe a couple of kilometers, 5 kilometers maybe. But yeah, it's really tiny, so we are going to be using this. We're going to be moving away from these 3D printed mounts for the camera and just using the mount and the canopy that came with the Beta FPV Nano HD. So finally, I'm going to be able to use these. This will give me a more solid mount for the camera, because this one keeps popping out every time I crash or even just a hard landing. So we've finished transferring all of our electronics onto this PicklePick frame. We mounted it on these gummies that I got from an old CL Racing F4 flight controller, and this is the Beta FPV Nano HD DVR board, which we just need to insert our SD card in there. And even with the canopy closed, you can still sort of reach it through the side. And this is the stock VTX from the Armor 85 HD, and I've just mounted it on double-sided 3M tape. The Crossfire here is mounted on at the bottom using also a double-sided tape, and that is why we had to add some gummies to elevate the flight controller board. And we have our FPV Cycle Mini Mortal T antenna. which is secured by these two zip ties, and I just borrowed one of my wife's what is it? What is this called? What's this called? Hairband. It's going to secure our battery. So we're just going to slide that in there. But yeah, just until I get to buy an actual rubber band. So when we replace this with a rubber band, it's going to save a little bit of weight because this is very thick unnecessarily. So the Beta FPV Nano HD canopy is a little bit too wide. It's not for a whoop mount because this is a little bit wider. So I think this is because it's meant for the Beta FPV HX115, I believe. And so I just used this this old Beta FPV 75X canopy, which does fit on the standard whoop mounts. And we already have one screw here in place, secured with a nut. And when we need to close this up, we just need to put this here, screw on the nuts, and we are good to go. The camera I just mounted using liberal amounts of hot glue here inside and also here at the bottom of the camera. So yeah, it's very compact. Let's go ahead and try to weigh this thing. So without the propellers and battery, this weighs just 49.9 grams, which is way lighter than the previous Whoopee HD lightweight build that I already did. And we're still going to be saving a little bit more weight when we change this to a rubber band. But yeah, that is pretty much the weight. Now, depending on which props you're going to put, these are really undersized props. I think these are just 40mm props. That's going to bring your weight up to just 4 grams. So obviously 2.5 inch or 3 inch prop is going to be a lot heavier. Right, LOS is good. Let's fly this in FPV.
A few moments later.
So I must have some bad luck today because I hit a metal post, the screws came off, and then it pulled one of the motor wires. So yeah, and that was on the maiden flight. Yeah, this is not my day. It's not a day for the PicklePick, but I'm not gonna give up. I'm gonna get a replacement motor, and then we're just gonna try this another time. But so right now I'm just gonna have to wait for a new motor, and but we'll jump to the future where I'll show you, when I'm able to fly this.
2,000 years later.
So originally I had this Beta FPV canopy, which this is a vacuum form canopy, but it doesn't hold to much abuse or any abuse at all. As you can see, it's pretty cracked now, and there's also no good way of mounting your Beta FPV Nano HD, which I have here, to this because I just had some hot glue on there and it was producing too much jello, too much vibrations, because yeah, it was just mounted with hot glue. So this wasn't an ideal solution. So I chose instead to get a Mobile 6 canopy, and I have here a 3D printed mount, which was specific for the Mobile 6 HD, for the Mobile 6 canopy and the Beta FPV Nano HD camera. The mounting holes here on the sides are a little bit too small, so I had to widen them for these M2 screw holes, but hopefully this would be a much more solid solution. It's my Mobile 6 has gone through a lot of crashes, and the canopy is still in one piece, so I'm very hopeful, and with this solution I'm hoping to get rid of those jellos. So now we've closed up our canopy, and this is what the final build looks like, and it's pretty nice. The camera is pretty solid. Hopefully there's not going to be much jello. It has a pretty high up tilt because everything's a little bit tight, even the wires, so it's pulling on the wires and can't really lower the up tilt, but it's going to be nice. It's going to be a fast little flyer, so hopefully we don't get too much jello with this. So right now let's just go and try this out. It's a really nice day out, and I just flew this PicklePick, and it's a really nice flyer. It can get to 7 minutes flight time with a 450 milliamp hour battery. My main problem is that I still can't get rid of the jello. I've already tried switching to 30 FPS, still the same. It's probably because of the Beta FPV HD Nano. Or maybe the motors. I could probably try swapping out different motors, but this project has gone on long enough. I got the frames back in October, and it's already April, and almost it's the middle of April, and this side project has gone long enough. Just goes to show you that some of these don't always go as planned. I've just been working on this in my spare time, but I guess it's time to close this video off. If you're just going to be flying this for for racing or something, that's cool, but with a Beta FPV HD Nano, the footage is quite unusable. So yeah, and just now I also burned one of my motors. So yeah, that is going to be the end of this the journey of this thing. I'll probably change the motors at some point, but for this video at least, that is going to be it. So hope you found this video at least entertaining or useful, or if you think this is a good project, at least for FPV racing. You can race this around your house or garden, or probably some place bigger than where I'm flying, because it's really tight, but it's doable. Using the gazebos as gates, but yeah. So I'm going to end this video here, so that I can finally publish all of the things that I'm doing with this thing. I don't even know what to call this thing. The my PicklePick 2.5-inch build, or 3-inch. Yeah, I'll probably try changing this to a 3-inch to 3-inch props and 3-inch motors. Right, so that is going to be it. If you like this video, make sure you click on that like button. Make sure you're subscribed, and if you'd like, you can also support me on Patreon or Coffee. There's links down in the description below. But as always, keep building and keep flying.